Peggy has exposed that Ashley Souls is a scam and South Africa shouldn't trust him. Peggy went to Parliament in the ad hoc committee that investigated the allegations that were made by Lieutenant General Ndlela Mkhwanazi, the commissioner or the provincial commissioner of police in KZN, who spoke about political interference and corrupt police officers. So people that were mentioned in the statement of Lieutenant General Ndlela Mkhwanazi, they were called to give their testimonies in the ad hoc committee and in the Madlanga Commission that was appointed by President Cyril Ramaphosa. In this video, we're going to talk about how Peggy exposed Ashley Souls as a scam. We're going to talk about the evidence given by Minister Cele. We're also going to talk about some of the things that are happening in Madlanga Commission, the evidence and the testimonies given by witness A and witness B, which as we speak or as I record this video, they are unknown. And I think they are good as unknown as they are, because they have given a good information. And if they can go to the public, it might be a mess. By the way, hello and welcome to Letu's Daily News. My name is Letu. You are watching Hot Politicking, aka Intellectual Digestion. In this episode, that's where we digest politics on an intellectual level. So please try to have a good enough comprehensive skill to understand whatever we're discussing here. Even if you don't like whatever we're saying, please try by all means to disapprove the information that I'm giving, to disagree with me in a respectful way in the comment section. By the way, let's dive deep to the matter.
Winnie Mandela, Mama wa
Now I think there is no doubt that we are a mass national movement. We are not a Natal-based or a Cape-based organization. We have got membership throughout the country.
Life is difficult, but you must soldier on. Don't give up. If you are a coward, you don't belong here. But if you fight, even when things are difficult, you keep on fighting. This is your home. Welcome to the home of black people who never...
Ashley Souls, a member of Patriotic Alliance. It's been good at the beginning of the ad hoc committee. He was asking relevant questions to Lieutenant General Ndlela Mkhwanazi. But after General Masemula has mentioned Kenny Kunene, Ashley Souls' stance have changed. On the first day, Ashley Souls was asking prominent question, relevant question that will take the committee forward to an extent whereby people of South Africa, they started hyping him, thinking that he is also going to make a good influence in the ad hoc committee that investigate the allegations that were made by Lieutenant General Ndlela Mkhwanazi, who is the provincial commissioner of KZN. But General Masemula came and said Kenny Kunene, who is the deputy president of Patriotic Alliance, which is the party that Ashley Souls represent in parliament, was found in the house of Katiso Molefe not once but twice. And that didn't sit well with Ashley Souls, to an extent whereby Ashley Souls decided to start fighting in parliament and asking Masemula questions based on that. His questioning changed. I don't think that was the line of thought that he had from the beginning, up until General Masemula mentioned that Kenny Kunene was found in the house of Katiso Molefe multiple times.
Now, when they went to Molefe's house to arrest him, they found a leader of the PA, Kenny Kunene, with Molefe, and they claimed they were other people, including a journalist. Are you aware of other people or any journalist who was found in the house of Molefe when he was getting arrested?
I'm not, I'm aware that there was a journalist, but I don't know who. But I know that they did find Mr. Kunene at that house.
And a journalist? A journalist?
Yeah, the journalist, yes. I don't know who the journalist is, but I know that they did find Mr. Kunene there. Actually, it wasn't the first time. When they went for the second time, they found him there.
When they went for the first time for Molefe, they found Mr. Kunene there, and when they went the second time, they found Mr. Kunene there.
Yeah, the first time he turned at the gate, they were inside busy. He came to the gate and they showed him the road, and luckily whatever he got, he went for the road.
And then you also testified about the presence of my party deputy president, the Honorable Kenny Kunene, at the house of Mr. Molefe. You stated that he was there twice in your testimony. Commissioner, are you 100% sure that Mr. Kunene was found at the house of Mr. Molefe 2 times?
Thanks, Honorable Chair, and good afternoon, Honorable Member, and thanks for the matters that you alluded to, thanking myself and the police for what they are doing. Honorable Chairperson, what the team reported to me is that, yes, he was there twice. You'd recall one of the times he was found in the house. The other time they say he turned at the gate. He never entered, but he turned right at the gate. They denied him entry. So that's the report I got.
So you yourself are not 100% sure?
No. I can't be 100%, but that's the report I got, Honorable.
So if you're not 100% sure, as the #1 cop in this country, understanding the rules of our criminal justice system, how can you, General, knowing that you're not sure?
Times, and that on its own is not good, because we all know why Katiso Molefe has been arrested. There was even a time whereby Kenny Kunene was accused of bailing Katiso Molefe out when now he was given the 400,000 rand bail. But my problem with that is that Katiso Molefe was already out on bail and he was taken back to custody, and now it's given a bail on another bail, and a bail on bail, that's not good, and that's not in line with our constitution. But the judge found it fit to give Katiso Molefe a bail at that particular moment. So we have no right to question the decision of the judge, because it means he considered all the facts that are on his desk. Even though witness A, when he was giving his submission or his testimony in the Madlanga Commission, said that Katiso Molefe has paid 2.5 million bribe into getting a bail when he was arrested for the murder of Armand Swart. So we're gonna see that as time moves on, but I don't think that's a great thing. And the judge on its own, I think credibility it's at risk. That is why the Deputy Judge President of Gauteng decided that he wants to go to the Madlanga Commission and give his own side of the story. And the Chief Justice of South Africa, Mandisa Maya, has released a statement that there is no formal complaint that has been given on the judge. And as the judiciary, they are waiting for that statement. And if that statement comes, they will do a further investigation. But one thing that I lied about the witness A, when he was giving, he said he's not sure that the 2.5 million was going to the judge or it was going to the prosecutor. By the way, we're going to talk about that as time moves by, because at the end of the day, the name of people like Julius Malema came through in the Madlanga Commission. He was mentioned, not implicated, but mentioned, because people, they fail to separate these two, implication and mentioned. Julius Malema was mentioned but not implicated. They said Julius Malema is a friend of General Sibiya, even though Julius Malema has confirmed in Parliament that he is not a friend of General Sibiya, but he does have a number of General Sibiya. And whenever there's something he's uncomfortable with that should be done by police, he calls General Sibiya and say, why are you dragging legs in this one? And which I think it's a very good thing to remind police of their responsibilities. It's not giving them an instruction, but it's asking a question. Why are you dragging your legs on this one? But well, let's dive deep to the issue of Ashley Souls. Ashley Souls came #1 when he was with Mchunu, or when he was interviewing Mchunu in Parliament. I'm not going to talk about what he did with Masemula because that was a disaster and the people of South Africa started backlashing him from that time. But when he was interviewing Mkhunu, there's something that I didn't like. At the end of the video, Ashley Sol took a stand and made his final conclusion and said Mkhunu was right to disestablish the political killings task team, even though he didn't follow all the sections of the police that Minister Qele came and mentioned in parliament that implicated Mkhunu. As I said, that Qele put anyone under the bus, Mkhunu is under the bus, his political career, it's done, finished, done and dusted with the statement and the evidence given by Minister Qele. So Ashley Souls went there to support Mkhunu and said Mkhunu was right. Mkhunu must stand with his own conviction, even though he's not sure of the relationship of him and the Matlalas and everyone and all those kind of things. He's not convinced of that, but the decision to disband the political killings task team, he is supporting it, and Mkhunu must remain with his own conviction. He must never change. He even said he doesn't care, he doesn't want to be liked by South Africans and all those kind of things, which is something that is questionable.
Just futuristically, but also looking back, there has been grave misuse. And I want to say and put it to you, Minister, I am not convinced by your testimony of your relationships with Mr. Brian Mokhotsi and Mr. Matlala. Your testimony there is very questionable. I'm not convinced by it. But when it comes to the reasons and the evidence before me for disbandment and immediate versus winding down, I saw with facts that I've just put to you why it would be justified. Don't worry, Minister, about your position. Don't even worry about public opinion. Stand by your conviction. I look at your evidence. I compared it to what was given before. This is what I conclude. And whether the whole South Africa hates me for doing it, I stand by my conviction. As I close, Minister, Muni Baizan, stand by your conviction when it comes to these facts. On your relationship, how you explain that, I'll be honest with you, it's not convincing. How you define your relationship, comrade, etc., it's not convincing. But based on this evidence, when you compare that there's a greater need to spend the money that's been spending on a small team, to spread that funding, to service South African police service for the whole country, I see it here. And I've put it to you based on numbers. And if that is truly your conviction, stand by that conviction, even if you don't have the position. Put South Africans first. And when I look at this, that money that went for laundry, 4.4 million, could have paid full-time members of South African police service, could have strengthened our intelligence division. Stand by your conviction. Whether the public hates you, we're not here for claps. We're not here for likes. We're here on national duty. I thank you, Minister. I thank you, Chairperson.
And he gave the people of South Africa that he is it's a person or a politician with a questionable character. And now people of South Africa, they don't look at him the way they used to an extent whereby he wrote a statement on Twitter and said soon it will all make sense. We're waiting for soon because at the moment we don't trust Ashley Souls. I don't think he's a reliable source. I don't think South Africans should rely on him after he did. And he comes with statements and utter them as if he's talking about facts, yet he's just uttering a myth that is not even proven. You understand? That is why Qele called it imaginary fact. When Ashley Souls was asking Qele that AKA was killed 5 kilometers away from the headquarters of the political killings task team, and Qele told him that you're lying. AKA was killed 5 kilometers away from the head office of police of SAPS, the one that Mkhwanazi stays in, and the head office of the PKTT, it's in Pinetown, different from where a very way long distance from where AKA was killed. So whatever you're saying now, it's imaginary fact. To an extent whereby Ucela said, Chairperson, can I please get health question? So in other words, the questions that were asked by Ashley Souls, according to Minister Qele, they are not health.
Who arrested the hitman on AKA?
Who arrested?
The hitman.
Is a team that was put together.
Which
by-
team? Is it the PKTT?
No,
No?
no.
Yet he was killed in a 5-kilometer radius away from the head office. And they were arrested close to 1 year later.
The head office does not arrest. Even if he was killed in the head office, would not have been arrested by head office. But the team was put together, and then the team did a good job.
Yet there was a team there, specialized team, in a 5-kilometer radius that can go all the way to a different province. They could not deal with that there, right there and then.
Where was it? Which team was that?
The PKTT is there.
Where does it sit?
They are there
Where?
in KZN. So what I'm saying,
Headquarters?
where Umkwanazi's office is,
No. Get your facts straight.
what is the facts, Minister?
The facts, they've got their headquarters in Pinetown.
Is it in KZN?
Yes, but in Pinetown, not headquarters of the police.
But is it in
Headquarters of the
KZN?
police is in the CPT.
Is it in KZN?
KZN is not a capital.
The point I'm making, and this is the fact, that it happened in the province where the PKTT is supposed to zoom into. A hit happens. A different team nationally needs to be put together to go and deal with that murder, a high-profile murder that is just kilometers away from where they are based. But in other matters, they are ready to go to a different province. That's the point I'm making.
Your imaginary fact, that's not a fact. You say it's a fact, it's an imaginary fact.
Okay, help me, Minister. Let's test if I'm
It's an
imagining.
imaginary fact. You started by saying there were 5 kilometers in the head office. You should have asked the question where they're based. They are not based 5 kilometers. They are not in the head office, where Vermas, where the head office of the
Are
South
they
African
based in
Police.
KZN?
KZN is not a headquarters, it's a province.
Yes, I know. And that's where the PKT focuses. I'm asked, where did the murder happen? In KZN.
Chairperson, can I get healthy questions?
Honorable Souls, let me take Honorable Nomvalo.
Yeah, no, my apologies, Honorable Source, for interrupting. Honorable Minister, no, for my understanding and for my records as well, what was the competency of the PKTT in this sense? Was it only designed to deal with political killings which are only related to political killings? I know that at some point they were requested to go and intervene in Forterre, but what was the actual competency? Were they only dealing with political killings or with any other murder which occurred in the province? That is my follow-up question. Thank you.
Was designed, Honorable Chair, to deal with political killings. But in their work, Honorable Member, pursuing the political killing, they will be led, let me put it this way. They find that I've shot and killed the councillor, but I've killed a taxi person the other day. They would not let me go to say, now we're stopping to arrest you because you have also killed. But their focus of work and their mandate was to deal with the political killing. And then other kind of killings would have the work of the South African police. Sometimes other kind of killings, they would be specialized, like the AK one was specialized. There was a special team that was put for that.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm okay, Chair. We can move on.
That is my understanding.
Okay. So I'm asking myself, let's say, as the people of South Africa, they were believing in this man, what they were thinking, Mara? What were they thinking? I think PA has not given the people of South Africa that thing you would say they can believe that Patriotic Alliance of Gayton McKenzie is here to fight for them. It is always on the wrong side of the people of South Africa. It was Gayton Mackenzie running after police stations with that man of Liam Jacobs, opening cases on the Open Chat podcast, saying they must be arrested, going to media, saying they must cancel their contracts and all those kind of things. DSTV canceled their contract and they did that. But now there is a video that's circulating of a Springbok and a colored boy that it's celebrating an abuse of a black child, and we are mooring that child there. They are bullying him in school. But Gayton Mackenzie has not rushed to police station to open cases. So it was just a clumsy stand. So he feel it whenever it affects the colored community. But when it affects black people, he doesn't care. Wow. Selective minister. But what kind of a country are we where we've got leaders that are selective to their own race? Imagine we're having a black president in South Africa. If Cyril Ramaphosa can say, I only take places where black people live seriously and leave all other places, will we have a South Africa is praised all over the world as things are today? I don't think that's a good thing though. And it's sad to see someone of Gayton Mackenzie's caliber, the person who is a minister. But that's the thing. It comes back to the question that people asked. Why do you take people from and make them ministers? How come? And all those kind of things. Even though I don't think that's a sensible logic, because Gayton Mackenzie was elected. He has a constituency. That 350,000 people who believes in go and represent them. And he needs to represent them on the scale of that 350,000 people. So him being given a chance to be a president or being a minister or whatever, it doesn't make any change. But the biggest problem that we must have is minister. In South Africa, we are not looking for a selective minister. We're looking for a minister that is going to serve the people of South Africa. Let me just say this. A minister that is going to serve all the people of South without being selective. And Gayton Mackenzie, it's none like that. But well, I'm asking myself, imagine if we believed Ashley Souls and we trusted him. We made him our reliable source. Kind of a society where we're going to be. I guess God saved us from people like him. And I'm so happy that he is exposed. And I think the people of South Africa needs to get to a point whereby they stop comparing anyone and let Julius Malema flourish in his own lane, and let anyone who comes to South African political spectrum function and flourish in their own lane. Because it's said that all of them, they are being compared to Julius Malema. Julius Malema, it's not competing with them. Honestly speaking, he is not competing with them. And I think we need to move from the point of competing them with Julius Malema. But I think the evidence that General Qede gave there, it was, and really, it killed political careers and ambitions of a lot of people. By the way, SARS, and one thing that makes me to believe General Qede is that when he appeared there, we have lawyers like Abomkhulu Sibiya, who came there with lawyers for no good reason. He's the first witness to give a testimony on the other side, or who was on the other side before giving the testimony, without lawyers in his presence, without notes to refer to, just speaking his mind and his truth, and he's standing on it. He doesn't change. You understand? The man was well prepared for the ad hoc committee. I'm even asking myself, why was he critiquing the ad hoc committee? Because he gained love from South Africans. By the way, we forgive General Qede for calling us Inunu. Indeed, we don't know anything. Our country is going down the drain, but we don't see. Hence, General Qede decided to call us Inunu. But well, spontaneous with your pilapi. But one thing that I know is that this country is under a very, very serious disaster. And as the people of South Africa, as the young people of this country, if we don't stand up, we will regret. Because these old people we appointed as our leaders, police officers and everything, they're destroying this country. You know why? It's because they know that in the next 20 years, 30 years, there is high probability, 95% plus probability that they want their life. Unlike me and you, we are still young. And the at the age that I'm at, even when you're checking the textbook, I'm still having like 40 years plus advantage of being alive. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that as the people of South Africa, let's try by all means that we're careful in everything that is happening. Because if we're not careful, we're gonna lose this country to the criminals, to the politicians who doesn't care where this country lands. I hope and believe you enjoy this video. And if you really enjoy this video, do us a simple favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and also share this video. Don't forget to comment, by the way. Don't forget to comment. And if you have a financial muscle and you are willing to assist Latest Daily News, we will really appreciate that. You can send in the details that are here. Or if you are outside South Africa and you're listening and you really want to support Latest Daily News, you can contact us in these numbers. We will give you our PayPal account, and hope and believe that this video will be enjoyed. By the way, we're introducing Swatikai cars. So if there's any car that you want in South Africa, please contact us. Tell us the car that you want. We will try to get you the car and tell you the prices. Then we make arrangement for the trade. I hope and believe you enjoy and you like this video. From me, Uletu, and my team in Latest Daily News, we salute you and bye-bye.